So the poem begins with Ode to the West Wind, the title, which is written by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Right. So what does the title suggest? The title Ode to the West Wind. Let me tell you, the way Ode to the West Wind is a perfectly suitable and justified for the title of the poem, because the poem is a tribute. Tribute, you understand? So the poem is a tribute to the what? Powerful and transformative force of the West Wind. So if you look into this title and segregate the title, it is written what? Ode to the West Wind. An ode. What do you mean by that? It is a lyrical poem. Ode means it is a lyrical poem that expresses what? That expresses admiration or reverences. Reverences means respect. So, admiration or reverences for whom? For a subject, right? And in this case, you would find out P.B. Shelley or Percy Bysshe Shelley celebrates the West Wind as a symbol of change, isn't it? Symbol of change, renewal, and revolution, right? So, what the role of the West Wind? The role of the West Wind is nothing but it is portrayed as a both a destroyer and preserver. So you can talk about the West Wind. What is the role of it? It saves and it destroys. So, and it symbolizes the dual forces of nature, and that sweep away the old and dead to make a way or make way for the new. So, second thing is called it disperses the dead lives and sits. It disperses the dead lives and sits, and signifying what? Death and you can say that potential rebirth, right? So, respectively. So, therefore, you can find out Ode to the West Wind is a apt and justified title in this. So, when you talk about why does it tell about the West Wind, symbolism of West Wind. So, the West Wind is not just a natural fact or phenomenon, right? But you can say that direct comparison for a change. So inspiration and creative power, right? Second is called as a for the poet. So it becomes you can say that force that carries his thoughts and words across the world. So much like it spreads seeds over the earth. So connection, if you talk about that connection to the poetic form, we can say the poem is a structured an ode. And we know that ode is called as a lyrical form, right? And a formal and exalted style of poetry, so which suits the theme of addressing a grand and awe-inspiring natural element. When you say awe-inspiring, something which will nothing but make you surprised, right? So therefore, you can find out the West Wind title as a powerful creative force that Shelley admires and seeks what or desires to change, isn't it? Now, if you find out the question called how do you justify the title and ode to the West Wind? So you can write that, right? So what is that ode is West Wind, why poet has taken West Wind as the title. So, and how come the poet admires, isn't it? Now, coming to the next one, we talk about P.B. Shelley, right? So, when you talk about P.B. Shelley, let's discuss some biographical overview about her. So, you can say that Shelley was born in the year of 1792 to 1822. So, was one of the major English romantic poets. So, this is a very notable part. You need to point out P.B. Shelley is a romantic poet, right? Second, she was known for her radical political views, idealism, and passion for freedom. Shelley often addresses themes of nature, change, and human potential in his works, right? So, as a romantic poet, Shelley describes imagination, emotion, and a deep connection with the nature. As a romantic poet, his poetry often explores what the relationship between humanity and nature. So, and that describes natural forces as both grandeur or majestic and transformative. Okay, so yeah. So, if you talk about the poet, not to discuss much, means the title in which the poet has means, admired to the west wind, it reflects the poem's beauty, essence, as a celebration of the west wind's power and change. Shelley's desire for what? Renewal and inspiration, and as well as through this poem, through this lyrical poem, through this admiration and reverence poem, the poet immortalizes his vision of nature as a dynamic and revolutionary force. Right? So that's what about the point. Now, let's come to the point. Before we go to the point, let me give you some short information about the whole poem. Now, if you look into that, the poem that has been segregated into 5 sections. So, and if you see that, the poem Ode to the West Wind is a register. I think it says अरे हाँ नहीं मुझे नहीं फुलफिल दे रहे नहीं ना सर लीव नहीं भी तो बोलते ना अगले दिन बॉडी में Okay, so when we talk about Ode to the West Wind, we understand that it is a powerful expression, the poem, of the speaker's admiration for the wild and untamed West Wind. So Shelley personifies, you understand? That's comparing West Wind with the human being, or maybe human being's quality with the West Wind. So Shelley personifies the wind as a mighty force of nature, both destructive and creative, and uses it as a symbol of change, renewal, and inspiration. So, if you say that, the poem is divided into 5 sections, and in these 5 sections, you would find out each section explores a different aspect of the wind, right? Aspect, you understand different qualities of the wind and its impact on the natural world and the poet's inner self, isn't it? So that is what. Let's say that the first section, if you talk about the first section is stated about the wind and the leaves. The wind and the leaves. Like the speaker begins by addressing the west wind as the breath of autumn. So, breath of autumn means that scatters dead leaves like ghosts. And the wind drives the seeds into the earth, where they lie dormant. Dormant, you understand? Lazy, right? So where they lie dormant until spring, representing death and eventually rebirth. So the speaker admires the wind's 2 types of role as a destroyer of the old and a preserver of a potentially a new life. Isn't it? Did you get the point? So the first part is called the wind and the leaves. How the west wind does nothing but a dual role with the nature. One side means you can say that drives the seeds into the earth, right or no? At the same time, they, where they lie dormant or lazy, and the other side means the speaker also said that means how the wind helps this means seed to place scattered everywhere. So that what it comes out again, isn't it? Now, the second one is called as the wind and the sky. The wind and the leaf, and the wind and the sky. The second one, the wind and the sky, where it is stated that the wind's power. The wind's power extends to the sky. So, where it drives clouds like fallen leaves and heralds storm. So, the speaker compares the clouds to the locks of a, fearful storm goddess, describing the sky as a vast sepulchre where rain, lightning, and hell will soon erupt. Right or no? So the wind is seen as a what? A dirge for the dying year. So symbolizing nothing but the end of the cycle, right? Or end of end of a cycle. So that's what the second part. Third part or third section in which the poet stated that the wind and the sea, right? So the speaker describes how the wind that moves the ocean, stirs the ocean, and awakening the Mediterranean from its summer slumber and revealing submerged ruins and underwater life. Revealing, it's called as that that allows those of the things present inside the water, they come out. Submerged means what? Something that hide inside the water, isn't it? So the wind's influence reaches what? Even the deepest part of the ocean, showing its universal power and the fear it inspires in all it touches. So the fourth one, which you can say, is called as the poet's plea. Plea means request. So the speaker desires to be what? The speaker desires to be as free and powerful as the wind. The speaker desires to be as free and powerful as the wind, and wishing to be a dead leaf. Wishing to be a dead leaf. Which one? You talk about the speaker. The speaker desires to be what? Free, powerful, and wishing to be a dead leaf. Right? Wherever the west wind take it, it goes. Isn't it? So the poet also desires to be a cloud. The poet also desires to be a wave. Right? Carried by its force. Carried by its force means what? That's called the west wind force. So the poet laments or cries, or laments means what? Feel sad, or called as a lamentation, which talk about remembers the burdens of life. So, and the passage of time, how the time flies, how the burden of life. So feeling nothing but chained in the society by the struggles of existence. So he pleads with the wind. He requests to the wind or with the wind to lift him and make him its companion. So west wind as well as the poet becomes the companion, association. Like the west wind becomes the companion to whom? Then it's a dead leaf, cloud, wave, isn't it? So like that, the poet also wished to be what? Companion of the west wind. That is what the poet's plea are. Why did the poet wish for that? Longs for that. The poet wishes for that because the poet, did not want to be, live in the kind of a struggle of existence. The poet did not want to, chain himself in the kind of society, right? So because he felt the chain, you understand, connected to each and every relationship, right? So that's what you can find out, and how the burdens of life and the passage of time, that's also matter. Then the last one, fifth section, where the poet's prayer for inspiration. Poet's prayer for inspiration. What is that? The speaker asked the wind to make him its instrument. The speaker asked the wind what? Asked the wind to make him its instrument. So, like a lyre, like a iron, I-Y-R-E, right? So that his thoughts, I-R-E, like a iron. Iron, you can talk about that. Means a person who engages another one, right? So like a slave, right? So iron is written as a capital here. So so that his thoughts and words can spread like the wind's powerful force. He wants the wind to carry his dead thoughts. He wants the wind to carry his dead thoughts across the universe to inspire new life and new change. So, where in the final line, the poet expresses a hope. What kind of a hope the poet expresses in the final line? He said that if winter comes, can spring be far behind? If winter comes, can be spring far behind? So this suggests that after even so much difficulty, hardship, and decay means destruction, right? Renewal and hope are surely come. Renewal and hope surely come, isn't it? Now, in that case, you can point out the poet presents the different themes in this poem, right? So you can say that power of nature, isn't it? So when you said that power of nature, how do you justify that? The west wind symbolizes, nature's huge and uncontrollable force, isn't it? So wind, how it destroy. You must have read Subramanyam Bharati, one of the beautiful poems, The Wind, in a 8th or 9th standard. Second is called as a death and rebirth. That is again another theme. First one is a power of nature. Second one is called as a death and rebirth. When you say that death and rebirth, we can find out the wind's role. The wind's role as a what? Destroyer and preserver. So reflects the cycle of life and renewal. Just write the keyword. Don't write the summary of it. Right. Keyword will help you to, explain your own points. Then third one is called as the human struggle. Right. Human struggle, because that's what the speaker desire to connect with the wind. Mirrors human desires for freedom and, change beyond, isn't it? Then fourth one is called the hope and change. But the point ends on a what? Optimistic note, emphasizing that that things will come, right? And things will be decimated, things will be decayed, things will be pessimistic, but renewal and you can say that hope and renewal surely come after it, after even all the hardships, isn't it? That's what the poet stated. So Shelley uses what? That called as a clear imagery, rich symbolism, and lyrical language to highlight what? To highlight the transformative power of the West Wind and its ability to inspire change in both nature and the human spirit. Got the point? Okay. Now let's go to the poem line by line. We'll try to understand that. So the poem begins with, "O wild west wind, O wild west wind, thou breath of autumn's beam." That is the first section. O wild west wind, thou means you. You breathe of autumn's beam. So the poet, that's what the poet P.B. Shelley addresses the west wind as the life force of autumn. That the you breath of autumn's being. It means the west wind as the life of autumn. So, O wild west wind, you breathe of autumn's being, bringing change of nature. So, you are nothing but the life force of autumn and you bring change to nature. Thou from whose unseen presence the lips date. Thou means you again, from whose unseen presence the lips dead. So the poet said, the wind, though invisible, that causes dead lips to scatter. So you from whose unseen presence the lips dead. So the wind, though invisible, so causes dead leaves to scatter. So the wind does what? Scattered those of the dead leaves here and there, isn't it? Are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. So are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. So the leaves are compared to ghosts running away from a wizard's spell. Yellow and black and pale and hectic red. Yellow, black and pale, hectic red. So the autumn, you know, uh, if you talk about that autumn leaves, how they are. So they are in a various colors. You would find out yellow, black, pale, and red in color. So that's what pestilence, stricken multitude, O thou. Pestilence. So pestilence, stricken multitude, so thou. So the dead leaves are like disease crowds. Because pestilence, no? Pestilence means what? Pesticide. We talk about pesticide, no? So that kills germs. But pestilence is what? Pestilence stricken multitude. It means called as the dead leaves are like disease crowds, right? So, and they decay and they are lifeless. Decaying and lifeless. Decaying means called as they don't have life. So you can also find out who chariotist to their dark wintry bed. So who chariotist to their dark wintry bed. So the wind carries seeds and leaves to their resting place, isn't it? So in the earth during winter, the winged seeds where they lie cold and low. The winged seeds where they lie cold and low. It indicates that seeds are buried in the ground, lifeless like a dead body. Sepsis means dead body. So each like a corpse within its grave until. So the seeds remain dormant and as if dead until spring arrives. So because once spring arrives, what happened? So the poet said, thin azure, sister of the spring shall blow. The wind of the spring, which is nothing but called as the west wind sibling. So the spring is what? That called as a west wind sibling. Sibling, you understand? Brother or sister. Uh, the wind of spring, the west wind sibling will revive the seeds. Her clarion over the dreaming earth and fail. Her clarion over the dreaming earth and fail. It means that called as springs. When come, that makes the trumpet. Trumpet, you understand the sound? Springs trumpets call springs trumpet like call will definitely awaken the earth, right? Because we know that. Then so what will happen after that? Driving sweet birds like flocks to feed in air. It means called as a spring will breathe. Spring will bring what? New life. So with the flowers blooming everywhere, isn't it? So with living who and orders plain and healed. So when you say who and order, who means called as a variety of color, order is called as a smell. So with living who's and orders plain and hill, the landscape, the poet wants to say that the landscape will be full of vibrant colors and also different smells that will spread across. Wild spirit which art moving everywhere. Wild spirit which art moving everywhere. Art means are, which are. The wind is a free and powerful force present everywhere. Destroyer and preserver, here or here. Right? Here or here. The wind both destroys, withers leaves, wither leaves means the leaves which are decayed, and preserves, spread seeds. Right? The poet calls out to it, isn't it? So that's what is the first part of the or first section of the poem. The second section, in which the poet said that thou on whose stream made the steep skies commotion. So it means thou, you on whose stream made the steep skies commotion. It means the wind moves in the turbulent sky like a powerful stream. The wind moves in the turbulent sky like a powerful stream. Loose clouds like Earth's decaying leaves are shed. So it means loose clouds, the clouds in the sky are compared to falling dead leaves, right? So like the dead leaves, so clouds are also falling. So shift from the tangle, bows of even and the ocean. These clouds are shaken loose from the connection between the sky and sea. So angels of rain and lightning there are sprayed. So the poet also said the clouds that bring rain and the lightning, like heavenly messengers, isn't it? On the blue surface of the airy surge, the wind carries nothing but a clouds across the blue sky. The poet also said that like the bright hair uplifted from the head of some fierce mannered even from the dim birds, of the horizon to the zenith side, the locks of the approaching storm you dirge. So the poet said that the wind carries clouds across the blue sky. The clouds are compared to hair blown upwards by the wind. The image of a manner. Manner. What is that manner? So you can say that manner is nothing but a fringed follower. It's a kind of a follower, you can say. Follower of Bacchus, right? Bacchus, Bacchus. So the image of a maynard, of some fierce maynard, even from the dimmer, that shows the nothing but a wildness of the wind's movement. Next, like I pointed, the wind's influence of the horizon to the zenith side. No, so the wind's influence that spans from the horizon to the horizon. You understand? That called as the ending. Horizon to the sky's highest point. So the lux of the approaching storm, you dirt, the clouds foreshadow an impending storm. The wind is like a funeral song. When you say dirt, D-I-R-G, the lux of the approaching storm, thou dirt, which means the clouds foreshadow an impending storm. The wind is, like a funeral song. Dirt means funeral song. So for the dying year, of the time year to which this closing night, the of the time year to which this closing night means the poet links autumn to the end of the year, right? Will be the dome of a vast sepulchre. So the poet said that the sky becomes a massive tomb. The sky becomes the massive tomb for the year that is ending. So vaulted with all your congregated might. So vaulted with all your congregated might. It means the sky that is filled with nothing but a heavy, stormy, and clouds. Congregated. Congregated means together. So might. So that's called as a heavy, stormy clouds. So the sky which is filled with the heavy, stormy clouds, the air that is dense with the rain and the clouds, the poet anticipated storms of what? Rain, lightning, and hail. So that's what she pointed. Vaulted with all your congregated might of vapors from whose solid atmosphere, black rain and fire and hell will burst of fear. Which means the sky is filled with heavy, stormy clouds. The air is dense with the rain and the clouds. The poet anticipated or assumes that the storms of rain, lightning, and hail will hail. Isn't it? So that's what is the second section. The third section, where the poet said, thou who didst awaken from his summer dreams, the blue Mediterranean, where he lay, lulled by the coil of his crystalline streams, beside a pumice isle in a Beges Bay, and saw in sleep old palaces and towers, quivering within the waves in intenser day, all overgrown with azure moss and flats, so sweet the saints paints picturing them. Thou for whose path the Atlantic's level parts cleave themselves into chasm, while far below the sea blooms and the oozy woods which wear the sapless foliage of the ocean know thy voice and suddenly grow grave with the fear. and tremble and despoil themselves over here. So the poets begins the section 3 with a kind of a line, you who did waking from its summer dreams, which means the west wind wakes the Mediterranean Sea from its summer state. It is stated no summer dream. So who did is to waken from its summer dream, the blue Mediterranean where he lay. So the Mediterranean is a personified as what? Resting. So taking peaceful nap. Right. So, and the poet stated that the west wind wakes. Wakes whom? Wakes the Mediterranean Sea. From what? From the calm summer, from its calm summer state. So the poet said also, the sea was calm, lulled by the coil of its crystalline stream. Means the sea was calm, lulled by its clear waters. Beside a pumice isle in a bay, it means the wind touches bay, an ancient Roman town with the volcanic islands. When you say beside a pumice isle in a bay, what is that pumice isle? And what do you mean by bay? It indicates that the wind touches bay. What is that bay? Bay. It means called as an ancient Roman town, right? In which or with volcanic islands. So even each and every part it touches. What touches? That the west wind, isn't it? And saw in sleep old palaces and towers. Even underwater, the ruins appear like a dream to the sea. So quivering within the waves intenture day, quivering, shivering within the waves intenture day. So the ruins shimmer beneath the bright waves, all overgrown with azure moss and flowers. So even the underwater, azure moss and flowers, the underwater structures, so are covered with the water, blue moss and sea plants, isn't it? Sea plants, all these things were there. They were so sweet. They were the sense paints picturing them. So the beauty of the scene that is excited and overwhelming, for whose path the Atlantic's level pass. The Atlantic levels pass. So in that case, the Atlantic Ocean also produces to the west wind force, cleave themselves into chasms while far below. The ocean splits open as the wind moves across it. And then after the wind affects underwater plants and marine life, even lifeless underwater, lifeless, those who have no life, underwater plants and marine life. So you can find out the underwater foliage feels the wind spark. So those who have no life also inside the water, so they also feel the power of west wind. Your voice and suddenly grow grave with fear. The ocean seems, seems to be tremble and turn nothing but a pale. Pale means what? Awed in fear of the wind. Why? Now because and trembled and despoiled themselves over here. The sea responds to the wind's overwhelming strength. Right? Now this is something for a connection between what? The west wind with the sea. Isn't it? Did you understand? Like I told you earlier, 5 sections and how the 5 sections are means connected. Then the 4th section where we find out means a poet's plea, isn't it? Poet's plea. Plea means request. Where the poet said, section 4, if I were a dead leaf, if I were, it means the poet wishes to be a dead leaf. You mightest be the poet wishes to be a leaf carried by the wind. If I were a swift cloud to fly with you, or a cloud moving freely with the wind, a wave to pant beneath your power and share, or a wave feeling the wind's strength, the impulse of your strength only less free. So the poet stated that the poet wishes to be a leaf carried by the wind, or a cloud moving freely with the wind, or a wave feeling the wind's strength, and the poet desires to share the wind's energy. Energy where? Everywhere. So Than thou, O uncontrollable, if even I were as in my boyhood and could be. The comrade of your wanderings over heaven, oh, lift me as a wave, a leaf, a cloud. I fall upon the thorns of life, I bleed. A heavy weight of arts has chained and bowed. One too like thee, tameless and sweet and proud. So the poet admires. The poet admires at the fifth line where the poet said, Than thou, O uncontrollable event. The poet admires the wind's untamed, nature. So the poet also wishes that what? He wishes he could be as free-spirited. It is stated, no, I were as in my boyhood and could be. He wishes he could be as free-spirited as his youth. Right? Because the west wind showed his, what you can say, untamed nature. It means a young nature. So, similar to that, the poet also wishes to be a free spirited as in his youth. The comrade of your wandering over heaven, the poet imagines traveling with the wind. The poet also asks the wind to lift him, like, oh, lift me as a wave or lift a cloud. So the poet asks the wind to lift him and free him from life's struggle, like it takes the wind, it takes the water, cloud, it takes the wave, it takes the leaf, isn't it? So I fall upon the thorns of life bleed. So the poet feels pain and suffering in life. So the poet wants to free himself. He said that a heavy weight of arts has chained and barred. Right. So time has made him feel what? Trapped and burdened. So, and one too like you, one too like thee. Thee means you. One too like you, tameless and swift and proud. It means he compares himself to the wind, lunging to regain its wild spirit. Got the point? So, means he compares, means the poet compares himself to the wind and stated that he wanted to regain, means to gain the same kind of means energy, same kind of ambition, same kind of thought, right? That the west wind had, right? So it's a wild spirit. Now the last section, section 5, where we talk about what poets hope, optimistic. Section 5, where the poet stated, make me your ire, even as the forest is. Make me your ire. I-Y-R-E can be called as an instrument, right? Like it plays the forest. The poet asked the wind to use him as an instrument like it plays the forest. What if my leaves are falling like its own? Right? Even though the poet said that he is aging, even though he wants to be a voice for change. So the tumult of your mighty harmonies will take from both a deep and autumnal tone. Sweet thou in sadness be thou spirit fierce, drive my dead thoughts over the universe, like withered leaves to quickens a new birth, scattered as from an unextinguished here. Ashes and sparks, my words among mankind, be through my lips to unawaken the earth, the trumpet of a prophecy, O wind, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Isn't it? So the poet asked the wind to use him as an instrument, like it plays the forest. Even though he is aging, right? He wants to be a voice for change, right? So the tumult of your mighty harmonies, it means the wind that creates powerful music in nature. When the wind blows, it makes the sound in the nature. So we'll take from both a deep autumnal tone. The wind's music reflects autumn's, mood. Autumn's mood of what? Both the death and the beauty. So sweet though in sadness be thou spirit fierce. It means the poet sees what? Beauty, even in sadness, and asks for the wind's terrible energy. Ask for the winds what terrible energy. It means you can say that somebody who looks, stalwart, brilliant, but at the same time, the kind of childless kind, right, is present inside. Isn't it? Did you get the point? Like we see the movie called William, right, where we find out the man is nothing but terrible and evil. But at the same time, The woman find out the kindness in him and change the person. So similar to that, the poet also stated the west wind is tumultuous. The west wind is nothing but what that called as a create the powerful music and also both the death and music beauty and having nothing but the fierce energy. So the poet wants the wind to spread his ideas. Whose ideas? The poet's ideas, like their lips, isn't it? So, like with their lips to quicken a new birth, the old ideas will inspire fresh, right? So, like withered lips, you understand? Withered means something that causes the lips to die, right? So, the old ideas will inspire fresh, new thoughts, scattered as from an unextinguished herb. So, the poet hopes his words spread like what? Sparks from a fire. So, like the fire that sparks everywhere in a second. Similar to that, his hopes, his words also spread. It is a metaphor, right? So, ashes and sparks my words among mankind, his words will ignite, and that may change in people. That may change in people. So, be through my lips to unawakened earth. The poet asks the winds what? To use him as a voice to awaken the world. The trumpet of a prophecy or wind. So, the trumpet of a prophecy. What is that? The trumpet of a prophecy. It's called as a transformation, change, right? So, his message will be nothing but a call for change, transformation. So, that's what the trumpet, the sound of a prophecy, knowledge, or wind. So, his message will be a call for transformation. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? So the poem ends with a hope that what? After even hardship, that called as a winter. After even hardship, winter, renewal, it's called as a spring that will flow, isn't it? So this poem expresses what? The poet's desire. Desire to be what? Desire to be as free. Desire to be what? Powerful. Desire to be what? Transformative. How? Like or as the west wind, isn't it? The west wind is a what? Free. The west wind is a powerful. The west wind is a transformative change, no? Both death and life. So while expressing hope for renewal and change, isn't it? Understood? So you find out a couple of poetic devices are there, right? If you want, you can write that. The first line, "Oh wild west wind, you breathe off autumn's beam," personification, right? You can find out that the west wind is personified throughout the poem, describing as a powerful being with human-like qualities. It is referred as a destroyer and preserver, wild spirit, and is attributed with the what? Actions like chariotist and waken. Second is called as the apostrophe. Apostrophe is called as the poem directly addresses the west wind, an inanimate force, directly addresses the west wind, what? An inanimate force, as though it were a living entity capable of listening. The line you would find out where the poet said, "Oh, here, here," right? "Oh, here, here," or "here, oh, here," right? Line is given. Another one is called as imagery. In imagery, you would find out the line where it is stated, "Yellow and black and pale and hectic red, pestilence stricken multitudes." Right. So Sally uses nothing but a vivid imagery to create sensory experiences of the wind's impact on nature, including sights, sounds, and motion. Symbolism, that is the fourth one. The west wind symbolism symbolizes what? Symbolizes change, transformation, and the cycle of life and death. You can also go with the other symbols like dead leaves. Dead leaves is the symbol of decay. Decay and ending, you can say. Seeds. Seeds. Seeds is the example symbol of what? Potential new life. Potential new life, no? Then spring. Spring is the symbol of hope and rebirth. Next is called as alliteration. Alliteration. The repetition of consonant sounds that adds musicality and emphasis is called as alliteration. You can find out west, wild west wind, WWW, right? Thou on whose stream, meet the streets, skies commotion. So another line is also there. Repetition of S, that called as a steep sky, steep sky, steep sky. Metaphor is also there, like the leaves that are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. Right. The leaves that are driven like ghosts from an enchanter fleeing. Here the dead leaves are metaphorically likened to ghosts. Right. Metaphor, do you understand metaphor? Metaphor is direct comparison. So similar to that, we have also simile, like you can say like or as it's used. Like huge clouds like earth thickens, leaves are shed. It means the clouds are compared to leaves falling from trees, like the leaves that fall from the trees. So the clouds are also falling from the sky. So next is called as enjambment, ENJAMBMENT. So you would find out many lines that flow enjambment, ENJAMBMENT. So many lines flow into the next without any pause, reflecting the continuity and uncontrollable force of the wind. Right? It means they do not have full stop, comma, or exclamation mark. So, like you would find out, drive my dead thoughts over the universe, like with the lives to quicken on your word. This is the two lines which are continued, right? So that could be. We also find out many other, but let me give you parallelism also there. Parallelism. Parallelism called as a Shelley uses similar structures. Structures in what? Successive lines to emphasize idea. Parallelism is called as a similar ideas, similar words, similar lines, right? So let's say that if I were a dead leaf, thou mightest bear. If I were a swift cloud to fly with you. Now here you would find out Shelley uses what? Similar structures, conditional structures. Right. In successive lines means one after another immediately. If I were a dead leaf, you might just bear. If I were a swift cloud to fly with you. That is nothing but two consecutive lines which are clearly indicating similar structure, conditional structure. Did you get the point? What is parallelism? Next is called as a repetition. We find out the repetition of words and phrases, emphasizes key ideas and creates a rhythmic flow. You can say, oh, here is repeated, right, at the end of several stanzas, right? So that's what you also find out. Then oxymoron, OXYMORON. Can you tell me oxymoron given in this point? Destroyer and preserver. Destroyer and preserver. The contradictory nature of wind as both one side destroy, the other side preserve. Isn't it? Highlights the dual role of natural force. Next is called as another one, Terzarima. Terzarima. This is very important. Terzarima space. Terzarima space Rima. What is that Terzarima is? Terzarima means the poem is written in a terzarima. If you check that, means each section has been segregated into several stanzas, right? Means 3 line stanza. Did not it? So that is called as a terzarima, which means 3 line stanza. Terzarima, 3 line stanza rhyming pattern, which is called as a B, C, D, C. ABA, BCB, CDC. Check it. The rhyming scheme you understand now? ABA, BCB, CDC. Okay. Next is called as a hyperbole. Hyperbole is called as a exaggeration. Exaggeration means excessive use to emphasize the immense power of the wind, west wind. So then, like you on whose stream meet the steep skies commotion, right? That is what is a hyperbole. 14th one will be allusion. ALLUSION. Allusion is nothing but another poetical device. The poem references mythological and historical. Allusion means what? That's something called as any kind of elements which have been taken, mythological or historical elements, such as Maenads. I told you, Maenads. So followers of Dionysius, Dionysus, 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 and the Mediterranean old palaces and towers. So you can find out Maenads, followers of Dionysus, and the Mediterranean old palaces and towns. So allusion is nothing but the symbols or historical elements have been taken. Dionysus. Then 15 is called as the rhetorical questions. Rhetorical questions like if winter comes, can be spring be far behind? Last line. It is a rhetorical question which Shelley uses rhetorical questions to engage the reader and emphasize his plea to the wind. That what wind, wind, and that's what is called as if winter comes, can spring be far? Isn't it? So these figure of speech or poetic devices work together to express the themes of nothing but change or transformation, right? So renewal and you can say the power of nature, while reflecting nothing but the poet's wish or desire to harness that power for inspiration and change.